Hello, back for another session. We're still talking about, living in fear, dealing with fear. Remember, I said there are two types of fear there's acute fear, and then there's a chronic fear. Chronic fear is where you live in anxiety, and anxiety becomes your whole world. So, we need to not be sitting in fear. That's when we're sitting worrying about something, and it's like worries like a rocking chair. We keep rocking back and forth, worrying about everything. um, I'm kind of hot or whatever. I'm trying to run in here and do this. I just got off work, but it was on my mind to go ahead and do another session on fear. But today we're going to do point number 3. We're going to talk about making excuses. Excuses allow us to sit in our mess. It allows us to be comfortable in our fear. It's like pointing the finger at somebody else, like blaming somebody because, maybe we've done something, or maybe there's nothing there. We're trying to be held accountable for something, and our hands are thrown up or our hands are tied and we can't do nothing about it. But maybe somebody's constantly coming at us, blaming us. Well, you did this, or you did that, or we really maybe on deep on the inside we're sorry, but there's nothing we can do about it. But then you have some people who don't ever let you live nothing down, or they hold grudges against you or whatever, so they want to point the finger at you and blame you for everything. you know People, I want to say, let's say leadership, what's going on in social media right now, everybody's pointing the finger and blaming the leader because he wasn't perfect. He never said he was perfect. And because they can't look past the flesh and see, the word is true. So because they can't look past the flesh and see the things, that he's done in the community, that he's done, you know, in his leadership, they just want to look at the one thing that you don't do. So, like I say, today we're going to talk about stopping excuses. Excuses are the author of procrastination. We always want to say we're going to do something, we want to do something, or I'm going to go to the gym. I'm gonna go start working out. But we procrastinate when we start talking about, oh, it's too hot, or maybe I'm gonna go home, I'll go later on. We just make excuses versus putting one foot in front of the other and going to handle the task, to doing what we want to do, instead of pushing us to our, attain our hopes and our dreams. We always want to throw a excuse in there to where we can't attain it. We always think of something. Like I said, excuses are there to keep you comfortable. They keep you in your comfort zone. And that's because you're afraid to come out of your comfort zone. We like being comfortable. We like, we're creatures of habit. And until we're ready for change, or won't change, or desire change, or until we really truly want something different, like I always say, until our why is big enough to propel us to get off that couch and do something different to obtain the thing that we want, then we're always going to be sitting there. And excuses is one tool that we use to keep us rooted and grounded in wherever we are. So, like I said, they're comforting. And we keep on living in a safe place. We think they're safe. That's the benefit that they give us, is that we believe that our excuses make us safe. It makes us feel safe. So we don't realize that our excuses constantly bring us back, right back to the beginning, right back to the point. You know, we go to rooming around the whole idea of a thing, making all them excuses, to we realize when we at the end of the excuses, we ain't moved nowhere. We right back where we started from. It's like worry. You keep worrying about something, worry about a bill, worry about, how this is going to get done, how that's going to get done. When you stop rocking in the rocking chair, when you stop worrying, that day, you still at the same place. It's when we get up and do something differently that changes. So, like I say, excuses. If we ever want to stop living in fear, if we ever want to stop procrastinating in our life, then we got to, not make excuses. We got to ask ourselves, are we truly where we want to be in life? And if we're where we want to be in life, then we need to just stop worrying about it and just sit there and be comfortable. But if we're not there, then we need to start thinking of alternatives and opportunities that, could get us out of that situation, to help move us out of that fear. Like I said, fear. Fear is deep seated in what we believe about ourselves. Maybe we're not confident enough. Maybe we have low self esteem. We gotta have personal development. Anytime that you have fear, you don't have a sound mind. So when you personally develop yourself and you gain a sound mind, you gain confidence about something, then that's when you feel empowered and you can propel off the couch and do whatever it is you want to do, because knowledge is power. And when you have that knowledge and you apply it to your life, you get understanding. That's the sum of wisdom. I say it all the time. So in whatever area that you're sitting in fear and you're making excuses, stop making excuses. Grab some literature, grab a webinar, grab, YouTube University, whatever you do. Grab something that can teach you something different, that'll build your confidence and build up who you are, develop who you are, so that you can stop making excuses and you can stop sitting around in the same old environment, never going nowhere, so that you can stop choosing to be comfortable, so that they can empower you to face a challenge. Struggle comes to make us better. We can't climb the mountain without struggle. We can't be promoted or do anything without some type of struggle. You can't just sit and be comfortable. Struggle gonna make you work for something. So we gotta be challenged. So we gotta pay attention to where our mind and our thoughts are going, because we can think ourselves out of the thing that we want. We can speak ourselves out of the thing, talk ourselves out of the thing that we want. But we need to make sure that our thoughts and our conversation hold us accountable to the thing that we want, and not constantly communicate an avenue where we just constantly dismiss it and find ourselves in the same situation. Like I said, I wanted to talk about stopping excuses, but we can go on into the next one, which is turn our shoulds into must. We always say, well, we coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know, that's attached to being, with excuses too. After we make excuses, then I should have done this, or I could have done that, or maybe I do this different, or like I said, they're all attached. In our mind, we have no choice but to succeed. We have to. We got to make achieving our goal a must. We got to have that by any means necessary attitude. That without it, ain't nothing else gonna matter. So that's how you get a big enough why to propel you out of your fearful. Let's take domestic violence. When a woman gets tired of being beaten, when she gets tired of taking the beatings and taking the slaps and taking the emotional and the verbal abuse, when she gets tired, she develops a air about herself, a persona that says, I'm just not going to take this no more. I'm just not going to deal with this anymore. By any means necessary, I'm going to get out of this marriage. I'm going to get out of this relationship. I'm going to do what I want to do with my life. I'm not going to be, not one more smack, not one more black eye, not one more. Reminds me of that movie that Jennifer Lopez was in called Enough. When she got tired, she personally developed herself. She went and she took self-defense classes. She went and learned how to fight, to where one day she got enough knowledge and she knew what to do, to where that was the end of that. And she fought back. She fought for her freedom. When you get tired of going around the same mountain, when you get tired of not having the thing that you desire, that you want, then that's when you're gonna do. It's gonna be a should. You're gonna turn it into a must. You're gonna turn your shoulds into a must, is what I'm saying. We ain't gonna sit there and allow fear just keep creeping in our life. You gotta get up. You're not gonna be compromised no more. You just you're not gonna want to be in insanity no more. Just keep doing the same thing over and over and over. Thinking and expecting a different result, but if you don't do nothing different, then you're not gonna get a different result. So we gotta come to a point where we turn our shoulds into must, which causes us to get up and do what we need to do. Um, that's like self-explanatory. I can't really say no more with that. You got to get tired of being sick and tired. You just got to. So when you reach that point where you're tired of being sick and tired, then you don't care about being afraid anymore. You know, if I gotta die, I gotta die. That's the mentality you have. If it's gonna take me out, it's gonna take me out. But I'm gonna do this. Like when you take that risk. Some people when they rolling craps or playing gambling, let's just say that they gonna put no one particular one out there, but with poker or whatever, they gambling, and they lay it all on the line. If I die, I die. If I win, I win. Or if I lose, I lose. You get to that point, you got to make your shoulds a must. That's how you move out of that. And then, like I said, we can go on into number 5 is adopt a growth mindset. Like I say, a growth mindset is the knowledge. You looking for personal development. You start studying the thing that you want, the thing that you desire. Say you want to get into real estate. You start studying about real estate. You take real estate classes. There's all kind of different things. When I wanted to become a therapist, I got in school. I needed to get the tools that I need to be able to get the licensure that I need to be a therapist. And it took a long time, a lot longer than it should have, because there was different things that was, in my favor and not in my favor. But 14 years later, I'm here. So sitting around back in 2009 talking about I wish I could be a therapist. If I was still doing that, I wouldn't be here. It got to the point where I had to get up and make that phone call to go on and jump into college. And my fear was the debt, the student loan debt, all that, debt. But then I thought about it. I got all the other debt or whatever I had at the time. I said, at least that would be some good debt, some debt where I was investing in myself. And then they come up with the public service loan forgiveness, and, a lot of things have changed since 2009. And, working out, where now that, I'm the president of a nonprofit, which made me qualify, for the student loan forgiveness. So, like I say, change it. Adopt a growth mindset. Basically think outside the box. You gotta learn what you don't know. Get out there and study. Look, read a book, listen to a podcast, there are different ways of learning, different avenues of learning. You don't have to sit there and read a book if you get sleepy. You can listen to it, Audible, watch a program, a workshop, webinar, interactive. There's all kind of different learning tools out there. You just have to pick how you best learn or whatever. So number 6 would be learn that pain brings valuable insight. Like I say, it's gonna hurt some. If it don't hurt, then it ain't you don't want it bad enough. If it was easy, you wouldn't have been afraid. Anything that you truly, truly want in life that's gonna benefit you and that's gonna give you the desires of your heart, it's maybe attached to your purpose. It's not gonna be easy. It's got exercise. To have a trim fit body, you got to do some exercise. Sometimes you're going to have to feel the burn in the calves, burn in the thighs. You're going to have to feel the burn sometimes. And that burn allows you to feel like you're accomplishing something. Technically, it encourages you. If you're just going through the motions or whatever, eventually you become disappointed because you don't see no results or whatever. But you got to be able to experience something. If you ain't fighting for what you want, then some of us drop out. We got to, how bad do we want it? Sometimes we don't know. We go through painful experiences. We feel ready to give in to fear, when we go through something. Oh, it's not. And then, the next morning we wake up, we got that boost or whatever, and we think, oh, I'm going to go out here one more day. I'm going to try it again. We got to be able to face adversity. And we got to be able to endure and stick with it. And that's the only way we're going to achieve the success of it, is because if we're able to stick with it, that's how perseverance. That's how you achieve the success that you want, that you come out of the fear. And once you come out of the fear, it's so exhilarating. Once you've accomplished or overcame, it propels you to the next thing. It does. Some people say it's overwhelming, but it can be in a good way. It was kind of overwhelming when I realized that I finally got my intern number. After all these years and all the obstacles and things that I had to go through, I finally got my intern number. And it was kind of overwhelming for me, to the point it began another fear where I was afraid to put it out there, because I went through so much. I'm like, who gonna want to take it from me? Who gonna do something, or I connect with the wrong person and then maybe I'll lose it. After all of that I've been through, I don't want to lose it. It's like when a woman births a baby. When she finally sees her newborn, after all that she's been through, she's very protective. Animal, how they protect their cub. You're very protective of the thing that you've worked so hard for. And when you finally get it, you don't want nothing or anyone to come against it. You want to be able to cherish it. Sometimes we get so fearful that we just hang on to it and we never do nothing with it. But you got to be able to come out of that fear too and begin to walk in the success that you've achieved. It's all right to take a breather, but you got to get back out there. And new level, new devil, they say. But you got to get back out there, and you got to be able to see the different challenges that you have to face with having the thing that you want. Fear don't stop there. It always changes. Just like water changes into vapor, changes into ice. It may be the same fear, just in a different form or whatever. And number 7, we got to practice self-care. While we're on the journey, we got to make sure that we're practicing self-care, which means we're going to monitor and manage our emotions that's going through our mind. If we love something too much, we could be so, infatuated with somebody or whatever, to where we don't see exactly who the person is. We just see the person that we want them to be. And then we fall in love with that individual. And then when the scales come off our eyes, we realize we are in a relationship with somebody that we didn't even know, that wasn't even who we saw. It's just who we created in our mind. So psychologically, we can play tricks on our own self if we go through our emotions. We got to learn to master our emotions, when we're going through something. Um, Sometimes we go through depression and anxiety or whatever. We got to learn to master that. Sometimes just our posture in how we, you know, slouch over, So if we just sit up straight, and be more alert, be more intentional, we can reduce the depression and anxiety, you know, how we feel or how we in our body. If we're, caffeinated up, and we're always drinking caffeine, and it may raise our blood sugar, our blood pressure, and our anxiety is through the roof. Or maybe we're so sad that we're depressed and we're slouched over, and we gotta be able to get a hold of our emotions, and we get a hold of our emotions by sitting up straight. You can't feel confident slouched over or whatever. You can't, feel less fearful, and your posture ain't straight or whatever. So I think that's what we're gonna do. That's all for today. But we just need to learn to, like I say, practice self-care. Do some exercise or whatever. That keeps the adrenaline running, the blood flowing, and it empowers us. And as long as we feel empowered, we can go ahead and keep on moving. We can keep on living. And, we feel encouraged to go after our dreams, our goals, and our desires. But if we are living in our flesh, living in our emotions, we feel defeated. So I think that's enough for today. Next week we'll take on adopting an abundance mindset. We'll begin there. So remember, always be intentional.